Good morning, crafty friends. I wanted to bring you my Monday lace inspiration, and I apologize for not having this loaded last night, but I totally spaced and forgot it was Sunday. So we're going to do it on Monday. Still okay. What I'm going to be doing is a lace snippet, and I'm going to be doing this as an ode to Marie Antoinette, which is the theme of this month over in Just Add Glue, and I will put a description or a link in the description box below for that group. If you haven't joined it, you might want to join it. Michelle Pipeling, who is the originator of the group, is super talented, as well as so many of the ladies that are in there. So I just decided to do this little snippet as an ode to Marie. So what I'm going to do is to take some bits and pieces of laces that I've used in other projects to create this. I have a few pieces that I've gathered here from other pieces, and all of these can be found at creatingwithdetails.com, and for each piece that I use I will provide the link in the description box so that you can order some of these gorgeous pieces for yourself. So to get started, I want to kind of measure, first of all, how long I want the snippet to be. And I've kind of done this already just to kind of cut down on the amount of time that I would be spending on the video. And what I'm going to do is roll this around to the point where I want to glue it, like right here. And this is where I'm going to start decorating the snippet roll. So I'm going to mark that. I know, not pretty, not fancy, but it'll work. I have these little tiny clamps that I got, and I'm just going to mark that spot where I want to glue it to. Let me just double check that again because I did get spacey there. Yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to start, and the reason I'm doing this is because I know that this is the amount that I'm going to have to use to decorate and to put on my little embellishments and pictures. And I am using some of the digis from Angela Holt that she has done for over on her Etsy store. And I do have one Marie image that Angela did. And when you order these digis, they come in a large, different sizes, but this is the sheet. And I printed these out on fabric, and you can see I cut the one out right there that I'm going to use in this project. And she has a number of beautiful digis, so you need to go over there and check it out because she does such a great job with them. So I noticed, all right. So what we're going to do is to start out by decorating this a little bit. I do have some of these teeny tiny little laces. These, I believe, came out of the crochet lace kit, but May has several teeny tiny little laces that would be perfect for this project or a project similar to it. So what I'm going to do is to just to add a little interest, I'm just going to add this to the edge of this lace. So I'm just going to use my hot glue gun and just loosely attach this to the top of this lace here. And I did kind of pre-measure these pieces just to cut down on the amount of time that I would have to spend on the video, because I noticed that I'm rather long-winded when I'm doing a video, and I'm really trying to improve that, guys. I'm really trying to cut down and do as much preparation beforehand as I can, so that I'm not boring you to pieces watching me do every single little step. So we're just going to continue to glue this, and I am going to add this same trim to the opposite side here. And I did cut 2 pieces of this trim. And that's kind of really how I determined the length of the snippet roll, because of how much of this trim I had left. I had a piece and I just sort of cut it in 2, and that helped determine my length. So there's one side, and let's do the other side. And as you can see, I should have gotten my my mat out, my magic mat, to do this. But again, space cadet that I am, we're going to improvise, and we're going to do it this way. So I wouldn't advise that you do this, especially if you have sensitive fingers to the hot glue, but mine are kind of numb from using hot glue for so long. It doesn't really bother me too much, but I wouldn't advise that you do it this way. It's just a lot easier if you have a wipe-off mat, or one of those magic glue, mats that you can wipe the paint and everything off of. And the glue releases really well from those. I lent mine to my grandchildren because they wanted to paint and so on one day, and much to my dismay, they got a hold of some bulky things and put holes and cuts all over it, so I need to find a new one. Okay, so there we have that, and I'm just going to cut these extra pieces off right here. Oh, my scissors need to be sharpened. Okay, and we'll set these little pieces aside because you can always use these, and I may use them in here. So the next thing I want to do is, I have these beautiful images that I just showed you that Angela Holt has done, and I want to feature those on the snippet roll. I have also got some pieces left over from other projects, these little medallions that I had cut off some of the other lace. Again, this lace is available in Creating with Details, and I'll put the link down below. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take this off because I've got my lace already glued on and it's in my way. So what I'm going to do is just kind of roughly lay out where I want these pieces to go. I also have a cameo and a bezel that also is available from Creating with Details that I want to use on here. So what I'm doing is just playing with the placement of these little digis like that. I may move her down just a bit more. And then I have some other pieces that, these are little charms that are available also at Creating with Details. And what I've done is I cut off the top of this. It has a little veil, and you can use it as a charm, but for the purposes of this video, I just simply cut that piece off. because they wanted it to lay flat in here. I thought that would kind of represent Marie Antoinette and her dressing table. I also have a cross that I had in my stash that I'm going to be putting on here like that. Oops, I got glue on my fingers. So now what I want to do, I think I like the placement of this. I may put something else here. Oh, let's see, what do we have? Oh, we have a little key. These are also available in the charm section at Creating with Details. Yes, and what I'm going to do is just cut this little piece off right here in the back so that it will glue flat. So let me do that real quick.
What?
Okay, sorry, that was my grandson. Oops. Okay, so there we go. And we're just going to glue that right on there. And I think I like that layout. So what I'm going to do is to glue these down here. Now normally I would probably use something like Fabri-Tac or something of that nature to glue these down, but for the video I'm just using the hot glue because of time. So I'm just adding a little bit of hot glue right there. And then you could, if you wanted to, you could, you know, paint this. You could paint all of these pieces so that it was all like monochromatic if you wanted to. I like the variations of metals and colors and textures, so I chose to leave mine plain. And then I'm going to glue the cross. Right there. I'm not using a lot of hot glue to secure these down because it's really not necessary. To make sure that Marie is right side up. And then the last embellishment is the key. I'm just going to kind of do it like that. Now you could add as many embellishments as you want to this. Just keep in mind that when you do, the more you add to this, the fatter the snippet roll will be. So there we have that. Now I want to embellish these right here, the little images. And I have some, I don't know if I have enough to go around both pictures. This is a pearl and rhinestone trim that Creating with Details also carries. Let's just see, even if I don't have enough for two, I can figure out something. Let's just go with it. You don't know unless you try, so I'm going to try and see how it goes. And the nice thing about this trim is it's, because it's like on a netting, it's fairly easy to curve without having to cut it. I just wanted to give these photos just a little bit of bling. Because, you know, Marie Antoinette, she was all about the bling. And jewels. And so that's what I'm doing. Oh, my cross fell off. I didn't glue that on very well. Again, you might want to use, like to glue your metal pieces down, you might want to use something like E6000 or something like that. That's cute. See if I have enough. E6000 just to give the adherence, but make sure that you do it on a mat that you can pick it up and move it around, because as you can see, this has a tendency to stick to any surface that you glue it to, because the lace is like an open weave. So make sure that that is on there better. Okay. Now I know that I don't have enough of this to go all the way around the picture, so I'm going to use something else. And this again is a piece of trim that I have just cut apart. And I think what I'm going to do is just glue that. Let's see, which way do we want to go? Nope, that won't work. Just glue this all the way around. Yeah, that'll work. Now I may have to take a few tucks here to get it to lay smoothly, but we can work on that. I want to make sure that I don't cover up Marie's face. And again, when you're doing this, you don't necessarily have to cut. You can just tuck like that. And I love this little image that Angela did of Marie Antoinette. She has a sailboat in her hair, and it is just the cutest thing. I've never done a snippet. This is my first one. So I thought, you know, I wanted to do something that would show you how to kind of utilize those little bits of gorgeous trims and stuff that you get when you do a project. And this little snippet roll is just kind of the perfect project to utilize some of those. So that was where I got the idea from, was all these jars that I have of little pieces that I save, because I don't throw anything away. You just never know where that tiny little piece might come in handy. Now you can see that there's a little piece there that doesn't quite look right, but that's okay, because I have something to fill that with. This is another little piece that I saved, that I cut off of another project. And as you can see, it's got a little tiny flower. And I don't know if you can see the pearl, but there's a little pearl in there. So what I'm going to do is just cut off this bottom piece. And where I have this little spot right here, I'm going to cut off a little bit of that netting right there. I'm going to glue it right there. It just gives it a little added. Isn't she cute? Okay, now I've gathered a lot of other I should probably turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. I've gathered some other pieces of trim that I've used and cut up, and like this little flower, for instance, I cut off of this gorgeous trim right here, and I've used so many of these pieces for so many projects, and they're just, what the heck did I just do with it? It went flying, it did. How does one lose something right in plain sight? Well, I know I have another one somewhere. Yes, I do. So I think I'm just going to maybe put one, maybe I'll put one right here on the side and then just add to that a little bit. And I have some of these teeny tiny little flowers. We might be able to put a little flower in it. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. These little tiny chiffon flowers that come in a roll on netting. And I just happen to have some of these in my stash from other projects, just to kind of give Marie or a little added something something. And I'm just doing this on the fly, guys. There was no pre-planning involved in this, as you can probably tell. But I think that what I'm going to do is, I have this little doily that I am not even sure where I got this from, but I think I'm going to add that right here, just for a little added texture, and then re-glue the cross onto that. Just like so. It just gives it a little more interest. And let's see, what else do we have here? We could even go around this cabochon with some pearls, just to give it a little more texture and interest. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And again, these are also available at Creating with Details. And you're probably thinking, that lady's crazy covering that up. But you know, like I said, Marie was all about the bling. So I want to give her some little more bling, because I love cameos. And well, this could be an image of Marie Antoinette. Who knows? I just thought it was symbolic, so I decided to put it on here. And again, this is all like on netting, so it's very easy to bend this around in like a curved shape. Just going to see how much more of this I need and cut that off. Glue strings everywhere. Cut that little netting off right there. There you go. Just added that little something to it. So let's see what else we can do here. Oh, I wish I had more of that. How pretty would that be? add it along here. Let me see. I have some of this mesh rhinestone, but I'm not even sure where I got this from. But May does have this rhinestone trim. I'm out of it because I used it up. I loved it. Rhinestone trim that you could use along here. I just think that adding this right along the edges of both sides would just give it that little added bling. Oh, dear, excuse me. So we're going to start from right here. Yeah, that's pretty. We're going to go with it. But like I said, that rhinestone trim that May has is gorgeous. So you definitely want to get some of that. I'm definitely getting some more. Like I said, I've used a great deal. Well, I used it all. I had a yard of it. And it went a long way, ladies, let me tell you. I'm just going to add these little short pieces in here. Just to give it that kind of a finished look on the edges and give it a little bling. Like I said, you have to forgive me if this is a little wonky, because I've not made a snippet. Believe it or not, I've not made a snippet before, and I had all these spools that I had gathered and saved to make one and just never did. So here we go. We're doing it. And again, this is the part that's going to be glued to the spool. I'm not happy with the way that's setting. I'm not happy with it being so plain. So I do have, I think I'm going to use one of these, I think. These were a trim that Creating with Details had that I used on some projects, and they're little butterflies, but May has some, they're like 2-3-dimensional butterflies available that would be gorgeous on a project like this. So I'm going to glue that butterfly right on there, because what lady doesn't like butterflies? And I'm not gluing that right down there because I want to put this trim on here, but then I'm going to glue that back in the center. I didn't like the way that looked, so I'm just going to cut off another piece of this netting. And glue that right down here before I glue the rest of the butterfly down. Just like so. Oops, hold that down. So now I want to get rid of the glue strings. Now I'm going to glue this back on here, the little dressing table. I hope this is giving you guys some, just some ideas of what you can do with your little leftover pieces that you have in your jar, because we all have them. And sometimes this actually came about because I was looking for just the right thing for another piece that I am working on. And I thought, well, I'll go to my scraps jar and see what I have in there. And as I was pulling the pieces out, I'm looking at this and I thought, Wow, there's some really cool pieces in here. Let's use those for something for the Monday Lace Inspiration. Because these are, you know, fairly quick and fairly easy. And there's really no cost involved to doing it because you've already purchased the items that you're putting on here. You already had them. You just saved the scraps. So this is kind of one of those freebie projects. I look at it that way anyway. Let's see. Cut it right there. And I do want to add something to the back of this because when you roll it, you will see the back of it too. So I have some other things that I'll probably lay on the back of this. And then it also adds a little dimension to the front of the piece when you open it up by layering it that way. And I see it was one short. Oh, here's some that I had cut off. Glue strings are sticking to everything and making a big old mess. That's okay, we're used to those. So I'm just going to, if I can get a hold of it, lay that piece. If I can get a hold of it before the glue dries. Jeez Louise. Just like that. Then I have one more piece right here. Lift up the doily a little bit. And there we go with that side. Now what I want to do, like I said, is first disentangle myself from all these glue webs because it's making working on this very difficult. So there's the inside. Now I want to flip it over and add a little interest to the back because you will be able to see the back, you know, when you roll it up. So I have some other pieces of ribbons and trims that I got out. And one of them is this gorgeous trim that is also available at Creating with Details, and this is in the bridal section. And you can weave ribbons or sari ribbon or something like that in between. So I think what I'm going to do is maybe let's see, that way. Again, these are leftover pieces, even though they're fairly long. Just to give it that finished look on the outside. And then I have this piece that we could lay in the center. Also, I have this, but I don't think I have enough. No, I don't. Okay, let's go with it. Now, you don't want to worry about this part here because this is going around the roll. So I'm just going to start gluing right along here. Now you could and I may go back and do this later on, weave some sari or some ribbon in here to give it even that more finished look. If you wanted to, I might. You just never know. I'm not going to do it on video though, because that would take too long. That is, it does take a little time. Or you could, yeah, you could do that. It would be pretty. So I'm just going this right on the edge of that trim, just to finish it off on the back side. And I'm not going to tack those two center pieces down right now in the center here where they overlap, because I may want to go back and add something. If I do, I'll show pictures of what I did. But this is just to get you thinking. What can I do? How can I use these? And I've always thought these little snippet rolls were really cute, so it was kind of a twofold project. Well, three actually, because I wanted to do a little something something for Marie Antoinette, because who doesn't love Marie Antoinette? Just cutting off these little extra pieces, and I will save these and use them. As you can see, never ever throw them away because they come in so handy. But I don't need to tell you ladies that you already know that. You're clever, you're talented. My tongue is flapping all over the place and not working well with me. Let me grab another glue stick here. And I am using Wendy Keenan from Just Add Glue gave us this little tip about just adding a little drop of glue to the end of a glue stick before you put it in, and it'll keep that from falling out. So thanks, Wendy. It's an awesome tip, because I know you guys have had that same thing happen where you're putting a new glue stick in and then it drops out and flies across the room, and it's just frustrating. So thank you, Wendy, for that tip. It's a lifesaver. And gluing those down right there. Like that. I think I am not going to add this piece on here. I like it the way it is. However, maybe... Oh yeah, that's the ticket. Yep. Okay. So I am going to glue these down via this flat back pearl trim. This trim is so versatile. There's so many uses for this trim. I can't tell you how many projects this trim has just added that extra special little touch onto a project. And I need to get some more, because I literally am down to just little pieces. And as you can see, I'm a little bit short, but that's okay, because I have more little pieces that I can add on to the end where I'm short. You could still run some narrow ribbon down through there if you wanted to. I'm not going to do that. Oops. Let's see. Okay. So there we have the back. And here is the inside. Well, this is outside, inside, I guess. I almost like the outside better than I do the inside. Okay, so now it's time to glue this onto the roll. I may have to Okay, I'm going to have to cut a little bit of that off. No, I'm not. So we're just going to add a little bit of glue, like so. And there you have it on the roll. Now let's roll it up and see how fat this baby's going to be. She's pretty fat, but that's okay. That is okay, because I am going to do something on the top and maybe even, I don't know what I'm going to do on the bottom yet, but I am going to do something on the top to kind of balance it off, because that looks unfinished that way. And I do have, if I can find what I did with it, here it is. I had this little piece of chiffon that I just kind of, you know, melted the edges of, and I thought that would be with one of these little buckle connectors that you can wrap around there. I thought that would be a cute way to kind of hold this closed. You could just pull that like so. I would move that around a little bit. Like that. That just adds that little extra. I'll cut those off because they're a bit too long. I actually need to maybe wrap this a little bit tighter. It's only going to go so tight, guys, because of the embellishments, but it's okay. It's still pretty. So again, I'm going to reattach that and just pull on the two edges of the chiffon just to keep it closed. There we go. And then I think I'll just trim these off because they're a bit too long. And to keep that from fraying, oh, let's see. I did use a just a lighter to singe that a little bit. So let me see if I can find a lighter. Oh, here we go. And all you do is just take your lighter and just see how it curls up? It just melts the chiffon so it doesn't fray. And that's all there is to that. So now let's finish up the top so I can do a shortcut to this video. And what I'm going to do is I'm hoping this works, this is another, this is the last piece of this gorgeous trim that I have left because I've used it all. I'm going to attempt to kind of make a ruffled flower, so to speak, around here. And then I have a piece of one of these crowns that's also available at Creating with Details to put right in the center. So let's see how this works out. I'm just going to start in the center, and these little felt squares are also available for your flower making needs. And I want this to stand up, so I'm kind of using this bottom ruffle to just going to keep wrapping and gluing, using the bottom of the ruffle, gluing that down. I'm doing this fairly loosely, as you can see, because I don't have a lot of this left. And I didn't want to do a great big flower on the top, even though those are cute. That would be cute. Just trying to add a little. This kind of reminds me of a like a collar that Marie Antoinette might have worn with the pearls on it. Okay. Whoops. There goes the glue. So, whoop, now you can see it's kind of a roughly effect there. Just exactly what I wanted it to do. I'm lucky. I got lucky, guys. Doesn't always work out that way, as you know. Okay, so what I'm going to do is set this right on top of here. And you can, oops, I'm not even in frame. You can see that there's frays and stuff. And I'm not worried about that because I like the shabbiness. So I'm just going to glue this right here on top of the spool thread. And just insert this little crown right in the center. Like so. And I'm not liking this. So what I'm going to do is unroll my little snippet here. And I'm going to add something there because I don't like that unfinished look. So we'll just unroll this, set that off to the side, and let's see what we have that we can use. See how many little pieces I have left, if this will work. Yep, that will work. So I'm just going to add some more of this little trim that I added on the snippet roll itself, just to finish that off a little bit, because it just looks unfinished to me. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom of the you know, this thing. My brain. Oh, I'm telling you. Spool. There it is. It came to me. Better late than never, I guess. Oops. Okay, then we have another piece. I'm going to do the same thing to the bottom. I need to glue that down a little bit better. It's coming loose. Here we go. Oops. And you could use a wider trim in there just to give it a more finished look. But like I said, this is just an inspiration piece, just to kind of get you thinking about how you can use some of those little leftover pieces of laces and trims. Okay, let's roll this back up. And, oh my dear, you know what I've done? I've put this on the wrong side. Blooper! As I was looking at this, when I glued that on, I had it upside down. See? See? That's a blooper, a real live blooper. Glad I caught that. Why don't you guys say something if you saw that? You gotta tell me these things. I need watched. Okay, now we have it on the right side. So there you have the decorated little roll. Now let's roll this back up and see if we don't get a more finished look that way. There we have it. I think that I am happy with this as it is, and I hope that you guys have gotten some ideas on what you can do with all of your leftovers, and I hope that you'll give it a try. If you do give it a try, I really would love to see your snippets and your your lace inspiration pieces and what you do with them, because I get inspired by so many people, and I would love to see yours. So if you could just tag me in it, so that I can see it, and I would really appreciate that. So there you go, ladies. That's my Monday lace inspiration. I hope you've liked it. If you do, please give me a thumbs up. And subscribe and share. Also, I want to mention to you that, and I'll put it in the description box below, if you use the code Robin20 at ordering from Creating with Details, you will get a 20% discount off of any order $25 or more. So again, I hope you liked it. Until next time, God bless and be kind to each other. Bye-bye.